Before I make my comments, I just wanted to mention that when I wrote this a few days ago, I had not heard the contents of the letter that Philippa just wrote. So, in some ways, it may be a little redundant, but I think it's actually very relevant as well. And while I was tempted to regale everyone with hilarious stories of Chip's countless antics over the years, I realized that most of those would have to be seriously edited for the general public. So instead, I'd like to talk about the impact Chip had beyond Chip the individual. I'd like to talk about Chip the life force, Chip the leader, the connector, the hub of a priceless and powerful network of family and friends. This web is something that we are all part of, know innately, feel intensely, and appreciate deeply. This social network that he built over the last 40-some years is a real, living, dynamic, interconnecting aspect of all of our lives. It's what brings us here today. Because of this, we are all deeply shaken by the loss of such a powerful, charismatic, loving, magnetic life force. For me personally, Chip's unforeseen and seemingly inexplicable decision to leave us left me grasping for understanding, searching for meaning in this tragedy, asking why. Why would he do this to himself? Why would he do this to us? As I cycled through disbelief, sadness, anger, resolve, and grief, I kept asking why. Knowing that Chip was an incredibly intelligent and rational person, as demonstrated in that letter, I felt there had to be some explanation. As I thought about his chronic back pain and his recent bout with depression, it became clear to me that he must have been suffering through a very dark, painful phase of depression. Since my father was a manic depressive, I've shared some of the crises brought on by these types of incredibly difficult mental health problems. With my father, I eventually concluded that when one is functioning as we are in this normal range of thoughts and emotions, we are just incapable of truly understanding how soul-destroying deep depression really is. Slight distraction. Could someone grab the dog, please? Thank you. Hey, Chip, quiet down, would you? I'm trying to say something meaningful here. With my father, I eventually concluded that when one is functioning in the normal range of emotions, we're just incapable of truly understanding how soul-destroying deep depression really is. My father was really three different people when he was either manic, normal, or depressed. And when thinking about Chip, I found this liberating in a strange way. I concluded that the Chip that we all knew and loved was not the same person that decided to take his own life. He was suffering deeply, got to a breaking point, and just needed to escape. He didn't choose to leave us. Rather, he chose to stop the pain and to move on. And I truly believe he's in a better place. If for no other reason, he at least has escaped his intense physical and emotional pain. Regardless, this has left a huge hole in all of our lives that we were interconnected through Chip. And as I thought about it, I realized that my grief and anger was really my problem, certainly not his. And my grieving was grieving my own loss, which was actually fairly self-centered. And from there, I started to own that and look forward and work on forgiveness. I asked for Chip's forgiveness if I was not there when he needed support, if I let him down in any way. If I failed to be a good enough friend. Excuse me. As importantly, I also forgave Chip for making a hasty decision, for leaving us sooner than we wanted, for unilaterally deciding to move on. While I'm not there yet, I hope that this mutual forgiveness will allow me to process the loss, progress with the healing, remember all of Chip's great qualities, cherish the amazing memories of the time we had together. So where do we go from here? What would the very Reverend, Pope Reverend, Dr. Angel Chip Hankins advise us to do? Look forward, fight on, live in the here and now, Stay connected. Build your own life force legacy of friends and family. To close, I would like to imagine that Chip would advise us to carry on, to continue to pursue our passions, even in the face of death. And I feel Dylan Thomas expressed this beautifully in his poem, "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night." In addition, the term "to rage" had special meaning for Chip and for the brothers of Alpha Chi. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning they, do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright, their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight and learned, too late, they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my friends, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now for your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. That's better. I can get drunk now. Exactly. Rage. And I'd like to hand the mic to my wife, beautiful wife, Amanda, and thank her for all of her effort in pulling this together.